everyone, welcome back. It's Aqua, and today we are going to be discussing the previous chapter of SOULTIDE. The only warnings for this chapter are discussion of death and canon typical violence mentioned. Anyways, enjoy the discussion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and enjoy the episode. Grian preens Mumbo's new wings, and the two have a short conversation about said wings. After finishing preening, Grian gives Mumbo a shirt to borrow, so he doesn't have to squish his wings anymore. Scar then shows up looking for Grian to check on him for some reason. Mumbo then has to show Scar his newly acquired wings, and Grian immediately shuts down Scar's idea of touching them for fear of messing up his preening. Grian then sends Mumbo to Doc's shop at Spawn, which Mumbo questions as Doc is usually out of the perimeter. Grian then reminds him about the fact that he can no longer use Elytra and his wings are too small to use. I think that it's interesting that Scar calls Grian his soulmate when they aren't in double life at the moment. I also think that Grian is being very considerate about what is happening with Mumbo and his new wings. Scar knows about Mumbo's wings now anyway. The way Scar reacted when Mumbo asked him not to freak out was so in character. Kudos to Feathered Mask. Before Grian can fly away, Scar makes him promise not to die. Grian is confused by this, as deaths are a usual occurrence on Hermitcraft. Grian eventually gives in and grabs a totem of undying. After satisfying Scar's concern, Grian finally is able to take off in search of X. The chat is unusually active that morning as a few people are being pranked by someone. Grian then asks Izuma if he can meet him at his shop, just before B-Dubs threatens Scar. Scar acting this way is a little suspicious. He doesn't usually care this much about dying on Hermitcraft, so it's a little odd for him to be caring this much. Also, shouldn't Grian be the one warning Scar about this? Scar is usually the one that dies like a bajillion times, not Grian. So this is definitely odd. Grian and X have a conversation about Mumbo's Verp. X then messages Doc about it and asks him to hop on because Grian needs to talk to him about what's going on with Mumbo. Grian also gets lectured about telling X about stuff like this right away. X then vouches for Grian in chat, and Zed puts in that he feels left out because he is not being pranked. Doc and X then have a short conversation about what is happening, when it started, and what they could do to fix it. I think it's very clever the way Grian avoids telling X exactly what's going on with Mumbo. Also, it is so Zedaf to feel left out if he doesn't get pranked when everybody else is. Doc logs on and asks Grian if they are meeting at his starter house, which Doc confirms. Not a lot happens here, so not much to discuss. Doc shows up to talk to Grian and Mumbo, immediately assuming that the wings are the problem. Doc is a little irritated that now there are two pesky birds running around the server, then gathers information on the state of Mumbo's wings. Grian going back on what he said about Mumbo's wings being toddler-sized definitely sounds like something that he would do. There's not much else to talk about here, so let's keep going. Doc explains that Mumbo will need a new Verp as Elytrians have a different model to account for their wings. Doc then gives them a scare when he doesn't answer Mumbo's question immediately. Next, Grian and Mumbo somehow both get hurt in the exact same place. When Grian then takes a look outside, looking for Scar, because at this point, he has began to panic, and thinks that he is in double life for a moment. Mumbo then asks Grian to check his health. When he does, he's on hardcore mode. Okay, so somehow, Grian and Mumbo both got hurt. I think that Grian and Scar somehow still have their soul bind, and it somehow traveled over to Hermitcraft. Maybe Mumbo somehow got added to the duo. And Scar spend the night at Grian's starter house, and in the morning Grian decides to go look for Izuma, and sends Mumbo to Doc's shop. Scar then shows up just as the two are leaving. He gives Grian an ominous warning not to die, then the three head their separate ways. Mumbo to Doc's shop, Scar to look for Jelly, and Grian to look for Izuma. Grian successfully finds Izuma and has him contact Doc, who then says that he will be on in a minute or two. Once said time has passed, Mumbo, Grian, and Doc meet up at Doc's shop at Spawn. After a quick exam on the two's wings, Doc determines that the best course of action is to get Mumbo a new verp. Somehow, as the three of them are talking, Grian and Mumbo both get hurt in the same place and discover that they are on hardcore mode. The Soulbinds have carried over to Hermitcraft. That is my theory. I am sticking to it. You cannot convince me otherwise. On a different note, however, we learn what a verp is. Also, Feathered Mask has informed me that they came up with the term verp because, to quote them, I created verp as a slang term, sort of, for what the phrase VR pod breaks down into when you're saying it quickly or lazily. Thank you so much for sharing this, as I had no idea how to break this down. Mumbo has been added to the soulbind between Grian and Scar. That is all I have to say about this chapter. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. It would also really help me out a ton if you could like and subscribe. Liking the video helps increase the chances of my video showing up for more people to hopefully enjoy. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you all next week for Chapter 3. Bye!